Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Cable's Conquests. You're used to our very long episodes, but today we've got a really short one for you. You may recall that a few weeks ago, Curtis and I attended the WTC, the World Team Championships over in Copenhagen, and we released an episode on it, a super long episode that had loads of fantastic interviews. But we wanted to single out one in particular because hidden amongst all of the rest was a very exclusive interview from the main man himself, the event organiser, Gil. And we wanted to just release this little snippet of an interview because we think it's an absolutely fascinating insight into what it takes to run the World Team Championships. So Curtis got a chance to catch up with him in Copenhagen. Let's hear what he had to say.
So we've come to the end of a wonderful event, and I've got the real pleasure here of having Gil. Gil, welcome to Cable's Conquests. And firstly, I'd like to say a big thank you very much for hosting the WTC. This has been my first WTC, and it's been probably one of the best events I've ever been to. The quality of life, from the tables to the space to the food and the accommodation, the ease of getting here, it's been absolutely wonderful.
Thank you.
I want to catch you because I wanted to just get your thoughts. How do you feel the event's gone as a whole, just this one in particular?
This one is, I'm really, really pleased. Of course, it's easier when you do the third time in the same spot. The hotel has been really good. We've had the same managers for the food service stuff, and he understands us. So they've been really good adjusting. I've had players saying they're so good. They upgraded the menu for us, which is fantastic. Yeah, I love the space. I'm getting embarrassed by. I've had people who comes and thank me multiple times over the weekend. And I get a bit shy about it, but it lifts my spirit that people are actually showing they're appreciating it.
No.
Yeah, and you know, players, they don't all listen, so I have to say the same announcement 17 times and put on Discord for Jamie because he's slow.
Well, you do an incredible job at herding the nerds. You know, there's a lot of players in here. We've got 160 players in this room. You yourself were playing on Team UN. How was that experience, TOing and playing?
It was good fun. I mean, luckily I have two very good judges, Mads from Denmark and Guy from Israel. And they lifted like grown-ups. So instead of being three judges, me on a team. So I only had to do the logistic stuff in the hotel in between rounds and stuff. Doing the rounds, I was just a player, and it worked perfectly. I mean, the judges were even on my case being slow on pairing and rule against me correctly. When I
Brilliant.
He reminded me of how a rule worked, and I was like, oh yeah, that's true. So yeah, and I just have to defer to them because that's why I have them.
And in my experience, I mean, I didn't have any personal interactions with them, but the judges were real MVPs of this event. It actually, from my perspective, it enabled a really clean running of each round.
Yes.
Because, you know, there was a clear structure. Players could call the judge. Players feel empowered to call the judge. And you know, for the most part, in my experience, you might be able to tell me otherwise, players respected the judgment of the clear decision making that came from those judges.
Yeah, 99%. There was we've had one or two incidents where they had to warn the guy. Well, one guy saw yesterday that he needs to stop or he would get a warning.
Right.
And we've had a few of them where things got heated. Most of the time, the players afterwards, I'll get a bit excited. Sure. We understand that, but it's if you ask a judge for a ruling and he gives you the ruling, you don't argue it. That's what we're telling them. Because then, why are you asking him? And his words are final. You don't argue with a judge. Even I was told that by my judge, and I was like, yeah, that's true.
And in your 3 years, has that been a culture? In all those 3 years, the respect for the judges and the judges' ruling, or is that something that you've had to build and embody into the community yourself?
No, I think actually this community is really good. I mean, I've been running tournaments since '99 and then been judge. I used to do it for Fantasy Flight for the Euros, so that was massive in the UK with X-Wing Armada and Imperial Assault. If you have competent judges who shows a little bit of authority and themselves act professional, people will respect that and listen to the judges. I mean, I've had captains pulling their teammates away when they were being, too much, saying they were talking too much, or they just wanted to keep arguing. They knew, okay, we're going to stop this now because the judge is right and we need to stop arguing. They understand it mostly. There's always there will always be one or two places you have to tell them again. And it's like, now we stop now. Because I've been lucky with good judges all 3 years. The first year they had me and Mass. I think we had somebody else. And then last year we had Sean the German, who couldn't make it back here, unfortunately. I really wanted because he was really good. And Mass as well. Mass has done it for 3 years. I do events with him. He does it in the other end of the country, along with a guy who does all of my terrain, John. So we help each other. So I give him terrain, he painted up, and then that way, and I give him mats. So he has equipment for his events, and I have somebody who's helping me get more and more. And then, of course, all the suites bringing 20-some tables as well.
Of course.
So yeah, it's a good cooperation. I feel like if you give people the proper setting, you basically tell them this is not just some little, mom and pop. This is a proper thing, so we should be on our best behavior. And as you said, everybody said the food was better this year than last year.
It was brilliant.
Yeah, it was. When she called me up 3 days before the event and said, "Oh, by the way, it's easy for a kitchen if we change the menu and upgrade it to this." And I heard steak something on Friday. And it wasn't steak, but it was steak casserole. But I just heard steak something, and then I stopped listening.
I'm a sauce man, so I was very pleased with that change.
Yeah, and I was just like, so basically I heard from her say, we're going to give you better food, no extra charge, and you're going to be eating in the restaurant. We already agreed on that. So basically she was saying, can we upgrade this for you for free? And I was like, I don't understand the question.
It's a statement, right?
Yeah, it's a statement. So, and the players loved it.
So, and if we then just reflect on the WTC as a whole, 3 years ago was the very first MTP WTC. It's a relatively fresh game in wargaming generally. Maybe it's about 5 years old now.
Yeah.
So you hosted the very first.
Yeah.
This is now the third. It's been in Copenhagen.
Yeah.
Each of those times, and you've been central to that.
Yeah.
How have you felt that journey has gone from doing it in its grassroots? You shared it with other systems at first?
Yeah, the first year it's quite funny how it started, because after COVID and the things, I was part of the WTC committee for War Machine. And after COVID, we had to pick it up, and then nobody could do it. We didn't have any bids for it 3 years ago. So I was like, I can host it here. I'll talk to the hotel. I was like, yeah, I can make it work. And then I'm in my playing club, and one of the guys I'm playing with, he says, wouldn't it be fun if we attach the WTC for MCP onto it? I was like, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
So I went to York Weekender the week after, talked to the UK guys what they thought about this. Well, that's probably pretty cool. We would do that. Wrote to the committee, do we have any problem in adding an extra game which is going to help us make sure we actually make budget, can make this
cost,
thing.
Of course.
Yeah, and make this a thing. And everyone said, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. And the fun part is we ended up having more MCP teams than War Machine teams that first year. So we ended up in total with 300 players.
Unbelievable. Between
the two game systems. It was fantastic. And then we was already decided that the year after we would split it up. And one of the things of the WTC is it's supposed to travel around between countries. I did make a stipulation that year two we would still do it here, because I basically had a loss for the first year because I did some calculating errors and other things cost more. So we said, I need the second year to try and recoup some of the costs, also because all the production terrain, borrowed some from Adepticon. Hank Williams, great guy, he borrowed me 2 years in a row, and he actually paid some of the cost of the transport. So I still want to pay him back for that. And then we put out that we want to have basically travel around and getting bids. And there was some people trying to do a bid last year, and then they worked out they couldn't do it because they didn't have the experience and they didn't realize how much of a production it is.
I think while you're building the event's name for itself and it's coming fresh, I think it helps that when you've got the infrastructure to not try to do too much. It's really exciting. We've just had the announcement it's going to Holland, to the Netherlands. So that's really, really exciting for lots of players to go to. And anyone listening to this, I would really, really encourage them, get yourself a team, get yourself signed up, because it's an incredible, and it's a real community, and it's got a very international feel about it.
Yes.
You make sure that you do not play teams of your same nation.
Yeah, so only if you can't. So like if you vote in the final, you will play. Yeah.
But so that means you're facing players from different communities, different metas. You're seeing new and fresh perspectives on the game, and you are challenging yourself to that. And for me, that was a really, really valuable experience, and something that I love, something that I will want to return to.
Yeah.
Would you say that's part of the core philosophy of the WTC?
I think it is, because I was part of the first War Machine WTC 15 years ago or something. And the first thing we noticed a year after that one was that all the small tournaments in different countries got bigger, because now you had people from 16, 17 countries who got to learn each other. So they hooked up on social media. And then all of a sudden, we have this tournament in Germany or France, Belgium, England, wherever, Sweden. And they says, what are you doing? Well, it's going to be doing this and this. And then, we'll come over with 3 teams of 12 people. And then and all of a sudden, some of them had to, we actually made more like con events, 3-day events, because it wasn't difficult now to get like 80, 90 people to an event, which means now you have enough players to do a big event.
Yeah, of course.
And a lot of countries who had 16, 24-man tournaments just blew up to 64-man tournaments because they were coming from 3 or 4 different countries and everybody was bringing 4, 5, 6 players.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping this is going to be part of the thing, at least it's easier in Europe. We can't just go to the US, but get people to travel around Europe to other countries that, we want to do the 60-man tournament. Well, we come down. I mean, I know a lot of us, the UK and Danish, Czech and French guys have gone to like the Belgium tournaments. I've gone to a lot of UK tournaments.
Yeah.
I have a regular thing going there. Even gone to the US a couple of times. But the fact that we're building bridges between the communities makes them sometimes, well, I'll go and see, I always want to see that country. Then come in. People go for a week and then they spend the tournament, and then maybe you bring your girlfriend because we can do 5-day holidays and do tourists.
Absolutely.
And then I got to play with toy shoulders in the weekend, but then you bring a friend and there's somebody else's wife. I mean, this time there was 7 or 8 wives.
I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe
fantastic.
it. Families here. It's amazing.
Yeah.
When I walked into the hall on Friday as well, I saw lots of individuals seeing others from other nations in their kit and then giving them a big old hug.
Yeah.
Almost like this is the first time they've seen each other since the last WTC.
Yeah.
They may have spoken over Discord, they may have played each other on TTS or whatever.
Yeah.
But they were reconnecting as a sort of international MCP community.
Well, that is one of the big things of this because we also, and that's why I told the hotel why they had to do special things, because this is our biggest social event of the year. Yeah. This is like the 1 or 3 times a year, some of them meeting up.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I won't take up more of your time. You are a very busy man and you are very in demand. But on behalf of Cables Conquest, thank you so much for the WTC and thank you so much for your efforts over the last 3 years. It's been brilliant. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Cheers, Gil.